the preferential voting system makes sense. There's a reason why you have preferential voting. The small problem is with compulsory preferential voting, you must put in a certain number of numbers. You are forced to select somebody you may find absolutely loathsome. That'll eventually trickle down to Liberal or Labor. And so that's what you've got in the lower house. You must fill in every box. Now, different in the upper house, and this is where you got a chance to actually have a say in a real sense. Now, the AEC will tell you you must put 6 above the line or 12 below the line. Above the line, you're voting for a group or a party, but it's referred to as a group. And you must do 6. Now, I had a look at the Greenway Senate candidates, trying to figure out how I was going to recommend voting in the Senate for anybody in Greenway. And when I was actually looking at each party's preferences, figuring out, well, I'll vote for them there, but then it'll trickle down and eventually, oh God, Liberal. What about over here? Whoops, Labor. It's always the same. And so, because this isn't our first rodeo, we've contested a few elections now. We know there's a concept, there's an idea in the counting system, in the AEC Scrutiny's Handbook, page 38. Check it out, folks. That says this: they try to save as many votes as possible, because if you can discern the intent of the voter, they want to save that vote. They don't want to throw it out because technically it might be informal. Example: if somebody puts a 1 in one box only above the line and nothing else, under vote save provisions of the AEC, and most AEC people don't know this, by the way, they are blithely unaware of it and they won't tell you. But you can put 1 above the line and that remains a valid vote. What happens is, because you don't have a second, third, or fifth preference, the vote exhausts, so it won't be used anywhere else. This is actually an optional preferential voting system, which is what we're big fans of. Now, if you don't want to vote 1 above the line, you can vote as few as 6 below the line. So you're now picking individuals, but you must put in 6. Now, I previously said on Cossack Show 3, that's incorrect. I made an error. It's actually 6. But under the vote save provision of the AEC, and most AEC workers don't know this, because to my mind, I think the leadership intentionally makes it confusing. You put 1 above the line, and that's what I've recommended in Greenway. And you pick Group J, which is the Federal ICAC Now Party, FIN. And all they want to do is get rid of corruption. So I went, you know what, you've got my recommendation on that basis alone. So I'm saying in Greenway, in New South Wales, vote 1 in the Group J and vote no more, because it'll eventually trickle down to Liberal and Labor. Now, why are the majors, and I think they're doing this intentionally, why are they forcing, or why are they deceiving the people into putting 6 above the line? Because they know that they want the preferences to trickle down to them. And if they don't put it, if they don't have that that impression that you must put 6, they won't get a quota. Now, follow me here. For a Senate seat, you must get a percentage of the total state vote, because the Senate's positions are the result of the entire state's vote. So in a half Senate election, it's about 14.7%. That's called a quota. So if you get 14.7% of the vote, you get a quota, you're in. And then the preferences flow to the next one. And that's why Liberal Labor invariably get 2 each, because there's 6 senators elected each election, each half Senate election. And then they fight over the last 2, and one will either go to the fifth seat will either go to Liberal or Labor, and the last one may be Greens. But they need those trickle-down votes to happen. Now, what would happen if everybody put 1 number in 1 box above the line? Nobody's going to get a quota. Wouldn't that be a tragedy? The snouts in the trough business is done as far as the Senate's concerned. So what you can now do is they'll have to have a second election just for the Senate. And now the people are aware that they have the power in their hands, they can actually make a change, and they can force Liberal and Labor out of Parliament, in the Senate at least.